Hi there. My name is Teresa Engelhardt, and I'd like to welcome you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast, Living in Grace by Choice. So, some version of what I'm about to say, I say just about every single week, and that is welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm grateful to be a part of your journey in some small way, and I'm grateful to have you be a part of mine. I read something recently that talked about how at one time we lived in a story culture where how history and lives were kept alive and how people were remembered and how lessons were learned were through the stories of the elders to the upcoming generations. And I know I've certainly gleaned and learned a lot from the stories that people have shared with me, and I'm really grateful for that. And the reason that I do this podcast is it just may make a difference in one life, and that would be amazing. And how that difference may get made is somebody hears something from my story and it resonates in a way, or they hear it in a way that perhaps they hadn't quite heard it before, and it gives them a little boost up. It moves them a little further along on their own path towards their own healthier life choices. I come from a background of abuse as a teenager, as an athlete, and then an eating disorder for 20 years. So living in an addictive lifestyle. And this is now coming up on my 39th year of recovery, which I'm still amazed at. And yeah, I'm so grateful. I can still remember the pain and the suffering of the struggle. I can still remember the bliss of, day one, hour one, week one, year one. And I'm grateful for all of it. So grateful for you. Thank you for being here. Whether you're brand new, you've been with me for a while, or maybe just happened upon this particular episode and you're listening in right now, wherever you are on that spectrum of creating the life that you were designed to live, being the person you were created as, embracing and loving yourself, your life, those people around you, um, and just, yeah, being more of a whole, blissful, excited person about the possibility of your life, then grateful to have you be a part of this journey. On Tuesdays, I offer individual sessions. And what a session really is it's an opportunity for me to sit as an elder, to listen, and then to reflect back to you what I hear, what I see. And my experience has been, and what led me to offer that was I can see who people really are beyond your self limitations or your own judgments, assessments, and opinions of you, which are usually much harder on ourselves, and allowing you to actually see the beauty, the magnificence of yourself and reflect that back for you until you can actually get that is who you are and live into that image. So, if that's something you're interested in, you can sign up on terseengelhart.com under the topic Work Together, and it's a donation basis. And I look forward to getting to know you more personally up close. Okay, so this particular episode is called It's All Maintenance. And it was inspired by somebody asking me, but how do you maintain your recovery? How do you maintain your healthy life? How do you not get bored, or how does it not become mundane? So, first of all, I want to suggest that it's all maintenance. As in the notes of this episode, if you think about it, you get a new car, now it's maintenance. You get a new home, now it's maintenance. You clean your house, now it's maintenance. You make some healthier choices in your lifestyle, now it's maintenance. It's all maintenance. And so I think what I want to share with you is if you embrace that, in the 12-step program, they count days. And I believe that a big part of that is because every day we start over and every day is fresh and new and it's a blank slate. Now, certainly you and I carry into tomorrow pieces of our past. Great if we didn't, but we do. And so, if there's something that's incomplete from your past, you want to get it complete. And what I mean by incomplete is there's something in the way of you being free to create whoever and whatever your heart desires. You're not stuck with who you were even a moment ago. You can think new thoughts. You can say new things. You can begin new patterns. You can drive to work a new way. You can start a new exercise program. You can add some foods to your diet. You can do whatever you want. And we're only restricted by the thought that we're restricted. I was talking to somebody even about Nelson Mandela. And here's somebody who was in prison. And while he was imprisoned on an island, chipping rocks into gravel, he taught his jailers how to read. So the story goes. So I think that imagery is so powerful when you get, even if we're imprisoned, even if we're outside of our self-imposed prison and we're in a physical prison, we can be free. We cannot be inside of some mental constraint that stops us from seeing any and all possibilities in each and every moment. So, one of the ways that I maintain is I I oftentimes am looking for something new I can add to my life. I can have a conversation that I've resisted having. I can try something new or do something that I've wanted to do and just haven't ever done. Or I can shift my thinking. I can ask and make requests. I can apologize to someone. I can practice forgiveness. There's always, I can simply be grateful. I can expand my capacity to be grateful. I can look at where in my life I'm not being kind or loving, and I can be kinder and more loving. So there's always this level of growth. And while maybe we all resist change, there's always an aspect of change in our life because resisting it's pretty ridiculous because it's always happening anyway. I can try a new recipe. I can, in my case, learn how to make a new cheese. I could, create a new account for the creamery or redesign the packaging or something that keeps me looking forward to and appreciating the opportunities that I have. I read about a woman once who was in her 80s or 90s, and she was restricted on what she could actually do. And so she took on writing letters to people who were incarcerated, to prisoners. And every day she wrote letters. And what was fascinating about this story is she built these amazing friendships. And when some of these people became free, they looked her up. Or when she passed away, her funeral was filled with these people who she had written letters to while they had been in prison or incarcerated. So there's always something that can keep us inspired and motivated, whatever that might be. And I dangle those carrots in front of myself all the time. My husband and I joke because we used to travel a lot. And I got to a place where I just didn't want to travel so much. I loved being home. I had animals to care for. And I used to have this thing about I was looking for the perfect roll as in like bread, a bun. And I had in my mind like just what the perfect roll was. And I would say things like, we might be going to Burbank, for example, or maybe we're going to Denver or Chicago. It wouldn't matter. And I would say, well, maybe there'll be a bakery there and they've got a great roll. And it was simply something that kept me inspired and excited, looking forward to. And my husband would just joke, like, "You've got to be kidding me. You think there's a great bakery with a great roll in Burbank?" But it didn't matter. It wasn't even like it had to be there. It was just the idea, the possibility of something kept me motivated. So I don't know what it might be for you. But see if you can't discover what it is that keeps you lit up and inspired, and keep placing those like little crumbs or little fortune cookies that are out in your future that allow you to live into something. And those things support the healthy choices that you've made that have gotten you to where you are. Something else is you can take the doing events in your life and you can transform them into, who are you going to practice being? Like, I'm going to be kinder, I'm going to be more compassionate, I'm going to be generous. Qualities that perhaps you feel like you fall short of, but you'd love to have more of those qualities expressed in your life. So you can translate what you have to do in the maintenance side of life into who you get to practice being. And then you take on, practice being that quality while doing that thing. And that's amazing. And it works. And it's awesome. So take that on this week. See what you discover. Remember, it's all maintenance. There's no not maintenance. And embrace it. Embrace it and see it as the opportunity of a lifetime. Because guess what? It is. And I'll be here next week. And I look forward to seeing you then.